From downtown Detroit, Local 4 News at 11 starts now.
More snow is on the way. The forewarned weather team tracking a winter weather advisory in effect for parts of southeast Michigan. With the threat of a messy commute in the morning, our forewarn alert day coverage is extending into tomorrow. Thanks for joining us. I'm Kimberly Gill.
And I'm Devin Skillian. No, we are not rerunning last evening's newscast. Let's start things off with Kim and look at the timetable on another morning snowfall. Kim.
I know, I'm sick of myself, I got to be honest, this whole week long. But we have another morning commute where the snow could be an issue. And as we've seen, it doesn't take much. This morning we had 1 to 2 inches and it caused all kinds of problems. Now, tomorrow morning, a winter weather advisory in effect for Monroe, Wayne, and Washtenaw. It does include the city of Detroit, all the downriver areas. It does not include Livingston, Oakland, Macomb, anywhere you don't see shaded in this bluish purple color. Sanilac and St. Clair County, it goes into effect at midnight tonight, and that's for lake effect snow that's going to continue through much of the day tomorrow. So let's get right to timing. Moves in a little earlier than the snow did overnight last night, so it's a longer period of snow. But between 1 and 4 a.m., that snow will move from south up to the north. Snow showers continue through the morning commute between 4 a.m. and 11 a.m., and then lake effect snow showers go all the way until 8 o'clock tomorrow night. Wind chills are not as much of an issue, but it's definitely cold. 9 above in Pontiac right now, 8 above in Mount Clemens, 15 above at Metro, 12 is the current wind chill in Ann Arbor. For kids at the bus stop, it's kind of deja vu. With this morning, we had that snow, caused a lot of problems. Tomorrow morning, there will also be some snow, but again, it's coming in earlier, so the hope is that maybe they could clear some of it away more than they did this morning. But regardless, be prepared for a long morning commute, and then the afternoon, 21 degrees with single-digit wind chills. An Arctic blast comes back in for the weekend. We could see those wind chills go 15 to 20 below by Saturday morning. But there's some hope. We'll talk about a warm-up for next week coming up.
All right, Kim. You're going to want to keep your eye on the Forewarn Weather app, which you can download for free in the app stores. Good time to just look for that. Search WDIV.
And make sure you stick with Local 4 starting tomorrow morning at 4:30. Ashley will have your up-to-date forecast and potential snow totals in your area. Plus, Time Saver Traffic will help you avoid the tricky spots on the roads, and live interviews with the Oakland County Road Commission and AAA to get you ready for that morning commute. That's tomorrow morning starting at 4:30 a.m. Well, you can blame the cold weather for what has become an absolute mess in Brightmoor. Those living at Rouge Woods Apartments got a shock this evening when pipes burst and water engulfed their building.
Mara McDonald live in Brightmoor tonight. It sounds like the people who live there are just really stuck scrambling, Mara.
Devin, it is such a mess in there. These poor people. The whole building is a total mess, and many of them have nowhere to go. And they say the management company hasn't exactly been helpful. Let me show you. Walk anywhere around Rouge Woods Apartments and you squash. That's how saturated the floor is with water.
The fire alarm had went off in the building. So when I heard the fire alarm, I said, let me slip on some clothes. So see, I got on what I could grab. It was right next to me. Came out here and the water was coming from out of here. And you could hear it pouring down from the walls, from inside the wall.
It wasn't just her apartment either. The busted pipes started on the 3rd floor and cascaded through the entire building. If you look at the pink box in your living room, you can see how high the water got. A bucket has captured some of what was cascading through the walls.
Once I looked around the house, and out of all of the light fixtures, water was coming down. And it was coming down hard, it's like a storm.
Detroit firefighters got out here and shut the water off to the building, but the damage was done. And any help from the management company, well, that's been hard to come by. I've been walking through here. I don't think there's a single surface that isn't wet.
It's not, everything in here is ruined. And I went to the office and they gave me some bags and told me to start bagging my stuff up.
They didn't say we're going to try and help you find a place to live tonight.
No.
We're bringing crews in here to dry everything out.
No.
Did they just boogie out of here?
When 5 o'clock came, the office door locked.
Back here live, late tonight we have seen some movement out here. I called the leasing company. They have not returned my call yet. We also called the city. 2 sets of fire inspectors came out here, spent a significant amount of time in this building. After they arrived, then all of a sudden a remediation company showed up out here. Now, residents in there say they don't think they did much. If anything, I think it was more of an assessment, but at least there's some positive movement out here. Let's see if we can find residents someplace to stay, because I mean, their beds are soaked. Devin and Kimberly.
Yeah.
There's nowhere to sleep in here. It is, if you don't have family to go to, you are out of luck right now.
Oh, and freezing
Back to you.
cold. Yeah, you got it. All right, Mara. We'll remind you, if you see or hear about any weather-related problems, power outages, road issues, building problems like the one Mara just brought us, send that information to our help desk, and we will see what we can do to help. All right, new at 11, one person is dead after a house fire in Southfield. Happened this afternoon at a home on Phillip Drive. Investigators found a man inside the home. He had to be taken to the hospital, and that is where he died. There is still no word on what started that fire. A Detroit family searching for answers after their home was targeted in a suspected arson.
Doorbell video captures 3 people setting home on fire before running off. This happened in the area of the Rouge and Livernois on Detroit's west side. Nobody was hurt, but the mother and children inside the home are understandably shaken. Jacqueline Francis spoke with them tonight as she walks us through more of that video. Jacqueline.
The doorbell camera did not scare these guys away, that's for sure. The mom we talked to said she believes the upstairs neighbor was the intended target, but now her whole family is traumatized.
I see the whole front windows are blazing. It's just completely blazed in flames, orange, red.
It's the last thing this Detroit mom was expecting. She asked us to conceal her face and identity, concerned for her safety. The doorbell video from Monday shows 3 people scoping at the house before walking up the steps and dousing the porch with gasoline, setting it on fire.
And I open the door and I just see flames flying everywhere. So I hurry up, close the door, call 911.
911 responded to the home near the lodge in Livernois and put out the fire.
I had children in this home. You know, it's not fair that I have an infant and a 6-year-old that have to be traumatized with, you know, being alarmed from a fire.
No one was hurt. The woman handed over the video to investigators, saying she believes her upstairs neighbor was the intended target, as that door was more severely burned.
I honestly don't know. It seems that maybe my neighbor was having an issue or a disagreement with someone that she knew, and they brought the drama here.
Whatever the issue, she says nothing warrants this.
I went straight into complete mommy mode because I'm like, what's next? Is somebody gonna come and shoot up my house with my babies in it? It's scary and I don't feel safe anymore. At this point, I'm ready to move.
According to the woman who lives there, 2 people have been arrested in this case. Now, we reached out to Detroit Fire and police to get an update on the investigation. We're still waiting to hear back. Reporting live in Detroit, Jacqueline Francis, Local 4.
Okay, Jacqueline, thank you. A former Detroit police officer will not stand trial in connection to a deadly punch outside a bowling alley. Juwan Brown was facing manslaughter charges for an altercation with a 71-year-old man. This all happened last year outside the Garden Bowl on Woodward in Detroit. Darrell Vance died after taking a punch and falling to the ground. Video shown in court today shows Vance challenging the officer. Judge Kenneth King ruled the officer was indeed doing his job and that Vance swung first. King told prosecutors they did not meet the standard to send Brown to trial, therefore he is free to go.
Michigan Secretary of State is asking the U.S. Supreme Court to decide whether Donald Trump can appear on the state's ballot. Jocelyn Benson today formally petitioned the High Court to make a quick decision on Trump's eligibility to serve as president. Donald Trump's ballot status has been challenged under the U.S. Constitution's 14th Amendment, which bans insurrectionists from running for office. Last month, the Michigan Supreme Court ruled that Trump can appear on the February 27th primary ballot, but that ruling said that was true unless the U.S. Supreme Court rules otherwise. So obviously, we will keep a very close eye on this one with the Michigan primary now just a few weeks away.
A short-term funding extension is heading to President Biden's desk for his signature. The move avoids a looming partial government shutdown ahead of Friday's deadline. The measure passed in both the Senate and the House. There are still major funding challenges ahead, though. Lawmakers have to pass multiple full-year spending measures before more deadlines in March. Today's funding extension bill sets up 2 new funding deadlines, one on March 1st and one on March 8th. Okay, we are 3 days away from the Lions hopefully clinching a spot in the NFC Championship.
Ford Field tonight where the Lions will take on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in the divisional round, and Local 4 is the place for Lions football this weekend. Our game coverage starts at noon on Sunday. We're going to look back at the Lions' trip to the playoffs in 1991. That'll be followed by a couple of hours of big game coverage.
Also, head to clickondetroit.com right now for a chance to win one of 2 official Herm and Lowe Detroit Lions blankets. We'll be announcing the winners live on Sunday's pregame show.
Yeah.